gente? Que lo que? You already know this is Pun Drunk Boxing, a.k.a. Mr. Moo. Shot himself, a.k.a. El Adobo, a.k.a. El Sazón, a.k.a. El Maldito Borracho. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all already know September 17th, we got Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G. The trilogy. Now, if y'all been following the channel, subscribe to the channel, smash the like button if you haven't. Man, come on, man, smash the like button. Show support. We working out here. If y'all been following the channel, y'all would know that I'm not a big fan of the trilogy fight. Big fan of Canelo Alvarez, but the trilogy, I just want to see Triple G face the Beast Andrade or Jamon Charlo, a unification bout in the middleweight division, a lucrative division, and I just feel like everybody's abandoning, the champions are actually abandoning the middleweight division. It's unfortunate, but whatever. Canelo Alvarez, y'all already know he lost to Dimitri Bivol this past May 7th. And, you know, he was moving up. Of course, you know, there's people out there that's, you know, saying, yo, but he was out there. He was a little guy. And, you know, he was there to be great. At the end of the day, man, look, Canelo Alvarez already been there. He won a title versus Kovalev. So it wasn't like his first time in that island. But anyway, if Canelo Alvarez loses to Triple G, which I got Canelo Alvarez beating Triple G in the trilogy. I got Canelo Alvarez beating Triple G by murder. But anyway, if Canelo Alvarez loses to Triple G, his fall from grace will be worse than Roy Jones Jr. Oh yeah, y'all remember when Roy Jones Jr. went to the middleweight division? I'm sorry, when Roy Jones Jr. went to the heavyweight division. Y'all remember when Roy Jones Jr. went to the heavyweight division, did something great, historically great, beat John Ruiz to become the heavyweight champion of the world. There was nothing left to prove, really. You know what I'm saying? Roy Jones Jr. is one of those talents that was just ahead of his game. You know what I'm saying? Ahead of his time, ahead of his game, ahead of his time. He really had nothing to prove after John Ruiz. But he went back down, shrank, drained himself to fight Antonio Tarver, in which he beat Antonio Tarver, but there was people out there that felt like, you know, Antonio Tarver really beat you and stuff like that. But to be honest, it was nothing left to prove. Nothing left to prove for Roy Jones Jr. So ego, because it wasn't money, it was nothing of that nature. Ego gave Antonio Tarver the rematch. And what happened? We all know. Knockout. Oh my God. I'm going to say it like this as a fan. Mike Tyson losing to Buster Douglas and Roy Jones Jr. losing to Antonio Tarver that way. I'm like, oh, it hurt. It hurts to this day. It hurts to this day. But then he fought Glen Johnson. And then Johnson laid him out. And that was a worse knock. I thought Roy Jones Jr. was dead. I thought he was dead. After that, Roy Jones Jr., his legacy took a hit. Whether people want to admit it, whether he want to admit it, his legacy took a hit. He overstayed his welcome. Roy Jones Jr. legacy overstayed its welcome. He got knocked out several times after that. And can you imagine if Roy Jones Jr. just would have left the game after John Ruiz? I know it's hard to say, but can you imagine if he did? Canelo Alvarez is going to be facing Triple G, in which I feel he doesn't need to fight Triple G. To be honest, I don't even think that he needed to fight Dimitri Bivol, but I think that he wanted to get that contract with the Zone. I believe that Canelo Alvarez had a purpose before to become the undisputed 168. He don't want to fight fellow Mexicans, as he alluded to, like Zurdo Ramirez or probably David Benavidez. So I'm thinking that he's fighting these fights for all the wrong reasons. For all the wrong reasons, because if you think about it, think about the contract though. Just bear with me. Think about the contract. Dimitri Bivol. There was people out there that be like, and I was like, hey, yo, if you're going to fight Dimitri Bivol and he wins, forget about the Triple G trilogy, that contract that y'all signed. Forget about the Triple G. Go out there and fight the winner of Joe Smith Jr. versus Beterbiev. They're going to be fighting, I believe, in June 18th, I believe so. But it was Dimitri Bivol, then Triple G, and then Eddie Reynoso alluded to in media week that the Dimitri Bivol media week, that he said that, you know, they wanted to go back to the PBC after the Triple G fight and probably get those fights with Jamon Charlo and Benavidez and things, or Earl the True Spence. So they didn't have a plan. They truly didn't have a plan to become light heavyweight undisputed. Canelo Alvarez had a purpose before. He won a legacy. And I'm not saying that if he would have beat Dimitri Bivol and become a light heavyweight champion again, no, it would have been great. It would have been great. Matter of fact, it was a favorite. You already know. But then he's going to fight Triple G. For a lot of people, there's unfinished business. But in my opinion, I think it's overdue. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that Triple G haven't earned the right to get the trilogy, because there's a lot of uncertainties with fans. I just feel like Canelo Alvarez could achieve more greatness. And I would love to see him in the ring with somebody else. I already saw it twice. I mean, I want to see a David Benavidez fight. I would have loved to see a Jamon Charlo fight. I would have liked to see a Demetrius Andre fight. But if he loses to Triple G, his fall from grace will be worse than Roy Jones Jr. His legacy will take a hit, and it will leave a big dent. 2, it'll be back-to-back losses. He will lose his straps. And then if he loses to Triple G, people will be like, you see, he actually really lost to Triple G. Both of the fights. This is the 3rd time. This is just justice. And if Canelo Alvarez's best win was versus Triple G, and both of the wins was actually controversy for mass population of the boxing fans, his legacy will take a hit, and it will be worse than Roy Jones Jr. Maybe it won't look worse, because of course Roy Jones Jr. got knocked out cold twice. But for Canelo, I think it will be bad. I think it will take a hit. To be honest, man, it's nothing left for Canelo Alvarez to prove, to be honest. I mean, he's done such a good job at the age of 31 and achieving a full division world champion, still currently super middleweight undisputed, have all the money in the world. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's not really a big name mega fight. Like, I love a David Benavidez fight, but he hasn't even done a pay-per-view fight. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he's a crossover success yet. Canelo Alvarez have separated himself with his contemporaries. I've been saying that for quite some time. He separated himself from his contemporaries, so he really don't have that mega fight, the 2 names. And maybe this is why the Zone won Triple G, because Triple G is a household name, a crossover name as well. Jamon Charlo is not really a crossover name. Demetrius Andre is not a crossover name, really. You know, Bivol, a lot of people didn't even know who Bivol was. And even if they fight Joe Smith Jr., Joe Smith Jr. was not going to be, let's say if he beats Beterbiev beats Joe Smith Jr. Beterbiev is not a crossover. A lot of people don't know these guys. So there's not a real mega fight, maybe except for David Benavidez now, because of course, even Mike Tyson, the Mexican Monster, he's pushing the Mexican Monster, and Floyd Mayweather has spoken. They want they want Canelo Alvarez to be in the ring with him. A lot of pugilists of the game, but in reality, even if he beats David Benavidez, what Canelo Alvarez is actually winning? Well, he's winning. He almost have a cemented legacy. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Will he overstay his welcome? And he's young, but it's really nothing to prove, to be honest. You know what they say, where everything goes up must come down. I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I just don't know. If he loses to Triple G, it's going to look bad for his legacy, and it shouldn't, because his legacy is still intact. He have accomplished everything, but I think it would take a hit like Roy Jones Jr. And Roy Jones Jr. was my favorite fighter. And I used to hate when people used to say what I'm saying. Oh, man, nah. What you talking about? Roy Jones Jr. is still the man. His legacy is legacy, man. No, he was the man. I used to argue that. But to be honest, people just started to, shy away from Roy Jones Jr. He was, his aura, his speed, his reflexes, it's just, he wasn't the same. So people started looking at him different. Let's be honest, he just, it took a hit. It took a hit. Well, let me know what y'all think, man. Let me know what y'all, if you leave it in the comment box. I might be wrong. But leave it in the comment box. Love y'all, man. Can't wait. Would love to see more greatness of Canelo Alvarez. The cash cow with the sport of boxing, still the best, still pound for pound. But if he loses to Triple G, I think it's going to be better than what we think it will be.